So in point number 4, he says the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. 3 words. The first of those words, إِنَّمَا, he said, is adat hasr. Yani it is an instrument in Arabic language that is used to restrict or to limit something. Okay, this discussion is linguistic discussion, but the point is, yani in the explanation of the hadith, it becomes more clear its importance. Yani innama means indeed, verily, surely, certainly, whatever is about to be said is true and it's limited to that. It doesn't go outside of that. So al-amal bin niyat means that the most important thing in deeds is the niyyah. Naam. The alif lam, the definite article in the word al-a'mal, yani the deeds, and you know if you say a deed or the deeds, it's not the same, right? A deed means any deed. The deed means you're talking about something specific. So the Shaykh, he says here, the alif lam, the definite article in al-a'mal, the deeds, he said there are two views concerning this. Some of the scholars said, innaha khasa fil qurub, that this is special and specific to deeds that are intended to seek nearness to Allah through them, acts of worship. This is specific to acts of worship, that it is acts of worship that are judged by intention. That's one view. The second view, إِنَّهَا لِلْعُمُومِ فِي كُلِّ عَمَلٍ, that no, al-a'mal here is general for all deeds. It's general for including all deeds. So if a person does a deed that is a qurba, it is actually an act of worship, then that person who does it would be rewarded for it. And if they were to do a deed that is from umur al-adat, it's not from those things that are considered worship. It's just general actions that people do, like eating or drinking or sleeping. That's not generally considered to be worship. But those deeds are also included. The second view, they said, it also includes umur al-adat, the habits that people just normally do, like eating and drinking and sleeping, that for those deeds, a person would also be rewarded. إِذَا نَوَى بِهِ التَّقَوِّي عَلَى الطَّاعَةِ. They would be rewarded if they intend, when they do it, the intention is to strengthen themselves in order to do an act of worship, an act of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the second view is that al-a'mal in this hadith includes all deeds. That if it's an act of worship, a person will be rewarded for it because it's an act of worship. If it's not an act of worship, they could still be rewarded for it if when they do it, the intention is to strengthen themselves, to enable themselves, to put themselves in a position to be able to do an act of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if a person sleeps in order to rest, in order to be healthy, to get up in the night and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to get up in the morning for Fajr, then if the intention of that sleeping is for the act of worship, to enable them to get up and do the act of worship, then they get rewarded for that as well. So this is a very important point, and the Shaykh, he passes over, he doesn't go into detail about it, but what he intended here, remember he said his shot is intended to be mutawassit, yani moderate, not really lengthy or closer to that which is brief. But this is a very important point, that a person should be thinking when they're doing any permissible deed that's not an act of worship, can I make an intent to do this as a means to enable me to worship Allah better? Then that means the person will be rewarded for that thing which is just an ordinary deed. Otherwise, without intention, there will be no reward for it. You should always be conscious of your niyyah.